media people who the Broncos are and what their feelings are on the Broncos. Well, if you go back, did he do it before the season or a couple of weeks in? At some point, Peter Schrager picked the Broncos to go to the playoffs.
He did it before the season.
He did it before the season. Wow, that is even more impressive. He was like the only one nationally that was believing the way that we were on this show before the season actually started. And Andrew Mason just asked him, hey, what made you believe in the Broncos?
Yeah, they're not there yet. They're not. I picked the Broncos to go to the playoffs before this season, and it wasn't because of my trust in Bo Nix. It wasn't because I thought that you're going to have this great season from Surtain. I picked him because I trust Sean Payton, and he'll get that thing going. But it is a huge gap. It's a huge gap, and that Week 18 game doesn't really count. Obviously, it was Chris Oladokun and Carson Wentz, but when you become a team that can take them in Arrowhead to that point where it takes a blocked field goal, a freak block field goal by Leo Chenal, like, you could compete with them. I don't think they're a year away. I think they're probably 2 years away, but Sean's got them going in the right direction. And if you have been following that division for 10 years, I think Broncos fans would sign up for that.
Heck yeah, we'd sign up for that.
Yeah.
The gap is certainly smaller than it has been in the 10-year timeline that Schrager's talking about there. But what stood out to me and why I wanted to get your opinion and talk about this with you, Cease, is because you've said it, and Will Peterson just echoed the same thing when we talked to him at 11:30. This isn't a 5-year plan. He's got a 5-year plan. What is it? Don't die? It's not a 5-year plan to win the AFC West. It's, in your opinion, as soon as next year. I kind of fall in line with what Schrager's saying of 2 years from right now.
Right.
Not to say that this year is a complete wash and who cares, give the Broncos a full pass.
Right.
The playoffs are now the expectation. You did it in year one.
Yes.
That's the lowest ceiling, is making the playoffs, and I'm going to hold them to that standard. But winning the AFC West and having my sights set on a AFC championship game, I'd love it, and I'm here for all of that. But I think in my world, that's more realistic in 2 years from right now.
Okay, my question would be why?
Because the roster's still not that good.
Why wait? Why wait? Like, the roster can be improved. We mentioned it yesterday. If you re-up Cortland Sutton, if you go get Zach Bond, if you draft Ashton Genty, I'll go for it all, right?
Oh, no, you might as well,
Genty, right? And then you get Elijah Arroyo, the Miami tight end that everyone's excited about. You get Mason Taylor. Auntie Chill, right? You get Mason Taylor. So we can just play that drop all the time. Please draft Mason Taylor. Auntie Chill, right? And you do that. Like, those 4 players, 4 players, that's enough to put you over the top for the AFC West. And my answer to your answer, and my, I guess, issue with what Peter Schrager said there is like, yeah, they're a couple years away. Not for you, although if you have a comment on this, please let me know.
Sure.
But I think it's a way for people to kind of kick the can a little bit of like, well, and it just takes time. The time is now. It doesn't take time. It takes the right decisions. If you make the right decisions, that accelerates your time. Bo Nix wasn't supposed to be this good this year. Bo Nix was supposed to be a rookie. And, if he had had more rookie struggles, we would just be saying, hey, it's a work in progress and things are going, but this flash here, and then look at this Saints game, and then look at this game. We would have been taking snippets. We can take the whole damn season, including the first 4 games, which weren't great, and say, this kid was outstanding. And had it not been, Kev, cover your ears, had it not been for an absolute historic rookie season from Jaden Daniels against bad teams, we would be talking about Bo Nix in a similar light. Right?
Yeah.
We would be saying that.
You're right,
nationally, people would be saying that. So for me, I understand why, not you, but I understand why some in Broncos country say, yeah, give them a couple years. That's just kicking the can. Why? Everyone else is going to get better. The Chiefs are going to be down this year, or could be, should be. They will be back. They're not staying down forever.
No.
So you've got to take advantage while they're trying to figure things out. Who are they? Post Travis Kelce, whether or not he retires or not, is Father Time just finally caught up to him? These are all questions. We don't know the answers. What will they do defensively? What will they do offensive line-wise? Well, while they're trying to figure it out, and the Chargers are always going to choke, and the Raiders are trying to figure it out. Like, a couple years. Well, then in 2 years, the pressure will be at an all-time high, and other teams will be better. The opportunity is now. The time to the draft is setting up perfectly for you this year. Now, make that run right now. And yes, that does mean Super Bowl. That means division title. That means make a push for the AFC Championship. That means make a push for the Super Bowl. It's here right now, and I just don't like the idea of waiting because then I'm satisfied with less.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And I don't want to be satisfied with less for this team.
I understand 100% of what you're saying. You know what my biggest reservation is?
What is
to
it?
not fully be on your side?
Is it Sean?
You're exactly right, dude. You're exactly right.
Wow.
It is. Okay, you just laid out Ashton Genty. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know that how much Sean needs to get Ashton Genty to be NFL ready, but we also know he's not going to let him carry the ball 20 times. Could he touch it 20 times? I hope so. I hope, and that's all I have right now is hope. And then you mentioned a tight end, be it Colson Loveland, be it Aurora, be it you go up and get a guy like Tyler Warren, which I don't think is true. Harold Fannin falls in your lap late, whatever the case may be. Mason Taylor, who we were talking about with Dante Chill, all those things. I don't trust, and my eyeballs have given me this evidence, Sean Payton to have in his Bronco life, because I don't give a damn about the Saints. I don't care what you did in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's like your girlfriend telling you about their ex. Like, hey, shut up already. I've watched Sean now in 2 consecutive seasons with young players outside of Bo Nix. That's the exception to the rule, but he's also a quarterback and touches the ball every single play. I have not seen Sean Payton draft a guy and use him the right way in year number 1. In fact, the only evidence I have is Marvin Mims, and that took 1 year and 8 weeks, probably. So if you go get Ashton Genty, does it feel like plug and play? Yeah, it does. And I'd give him benefit of the doubt. But I still have that small reservation of, all right, you go fantasy football on this 2025 NFL draft. You get a running back, you get a tight end. Hell, maybe you even get 2 of both of those positions. I still can't just put my blind faith in Sean Payton utilizing those players in the right way in year number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where the pressure comes on Sean Payton.
Exactly.
And
right.
isn't that the place you want to be? Isn't that the place you want to be? Because here's what I want. And I am listening. I'm not 100% on board with you, but I'm listening. And I'm just going, isn't this good? Isn't this good? I don't want Sean Payton to be like, well, I didn't have my quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't have my offensive line. Well, I didn't have my defense. Well, I didn't have my ground game. Well, we didn't have the Joker, right? Because right now, Sean Payton has excuses. Not reasons, but excuses. Well, the Joker, we need that playmaker. We need elite receivers who can make plays as the Joker. That's fine. But I want him to get that stuff, so then it is on him. I want that pressure on Sean because I trust that Sean will respond properly to said pressure. Why did Drew Brees only have 1 Super Bowl? We're the only ones ever asking that question. That's Drew Brees. He should have had more than 1 Super Bowl. And I know the refs screwed the Saints.
I was going to say, it's referees and you got to come up with the and.
But Sean Payton having that pressure on him, that means George Payton has done the right job. That means Greg Penner is guiding things correctly. And that means, Sean, you're well paid, dude. You're the best ever. Just ask yourself, right? When he looks in the mirror, does he have any doubts? Oh, no. Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. Mm-hmm. I can't stop looking in the mirror. I just get better looking each day. That's an old country song, Kev. I'm glad you know that one.
I didn't know that at all.
You didn't know that? We should play it. Let's play that one, Kev. 12:45. Yeah, so greatest guy ever. Okay, go prove it. You're going to have most everything you need, and you're not going to have everything. Mm-hmm. It's what I've often said about Vance Joseph. You're not going to have everything. You're going to have to deal with not having everything. Sean, you've got to be better. And I like that pressure being on him because it's exactly where it should be.
We did get a text from a Florida texter, which I think is very well said. You didn't say your name or else we'd give you a shout out here. They're not a couple of years away. They're a couple players away. I think that's well said, and I think that's kind of what you're hinting at or kind of suggesting there.
Right.
But that's also what I'm saying. Yeah, they are a couple of players away, but are we giving Sean Payton full benefit of doubt that those players will be utilized in the right way just because we have no other choice and he's the coach of our favorite football team? If the answer is yes to that, that's cool. That's cool too. But I'm just not there right now with Sean Payton. And I'm using the evidence that I just told you. What did Troy Franklin and Devon Bailey do this year? Nothing. What did Audric Estime do this year? Absolutely nothing. So those are the guys that he drafted to come and make an impact on the offensive side. And they did not do that. I fully expect all 3 of them to have a role next year. And if we use the Marvin Mims blueprint, path, whatever you want to call it, then yeah, maybe by week 6 or 7, they are contributing to the Denver Broncos. But in my Broncos timeline with Sean Payton, I've never seen him draft a guy and then make that guy a real part of the offense, a legitimate threat as a weapon on the offensive side.
Yeah.
And so I struggle to give him that version of benefit of the doubt.
Okay, well, I'd like to see it, and I'd like to see Bo Nix become so good with better weapons around him that Sean, in a way, takes sort of a sidecar, right? I'm not going to say backseat. Sean Payton would never be in the backseat because if he did, he'd be telling you how to drive all the time. I know it's not don't be that guy Wednesday, but don't be that guy that's a backseat driver.
Oh, it's the worst.
Please. It is the absolute worst.
Or side seat driver, Kelsey.
Sean would be the guy sitting next to you, though. Be like, did you see that? Guy's on the brakes.
Yeah.
Or doing the fake motion when you're in the passenger seat and you're doing the fake step on the brake. Like, no, I got this.
Yeah.
I want Bo to be that, right? Yeah. When I taught my kids how to drive, I would once in a while reach over and grab the steering wheel if they were a little bit out of the lane. And they didn't like that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, guess what I do now? I don't have to do any of that because they know how to drive. I want Sean to be that quiet passenger and just kind of like, okay, Bo, I set you up. Here's the design. You've got your own ideas. Let's go play a game. That's what you should be hoping for. So what you say, I agree with it, but that's where you want to go.
Okay.
That's actually not a negative. It's what you want. You want Sean Payton to be, he's the guy that has to have the answer.
You're right.
Everything else around him is there. Sean has to have the answers.
You better have the answer, Sean. Coming up this season.